let's talk a little bit about the politics of Bitcoin itself, because at this conference, I'm very aware in this sort of day and age of people being very partisan one way or the other. But I always make the point that like, you really don't have to be as an investor, right? Like as an investor, you just want what's going to make you money. All that said, it was interesting to me. One of the people that I interviewed there was Vivek Ramaswamy. A lot of the viewers from the Trish Regan show anyway know him well. Of course, Americans know him because he ran for president. He is very interested in this space. He has a biotech background, so you combine sort of tech, a little bit of politics, and he's been very pro Bitcoin, Ethereum, cryptos in general. There are some political hurdles. I mean, think about it. If you're a country, you want to print your own money. You don't necessarily want people going and buying Bitcoins and trading with Bitcoins. Not that they would, because again, if we're thinking about it as a store of value, that's not very taxing on you. But I think there's this fear among many that it's a little bit too Wild West, and it might actually replace, dare I say, the authority of the United States central bank.
Yep. So the politics of it is really the fascinating part of it. And I think it's actually one of the things that was really eye-opening to me about Michael Saylor's presentation, and sort of like one of the key reasons why I would say he's saying it eventually makes its way to 13 million over the next 20 years, which, by the way, is just his base case forecast. The idea is basically that, over time, Bitcoin, when it first started, as you've kind of talked about, like it was potentially illegal, and there's always been a lot of concerns about it being banned. And over time, it's made its way into, it's become more integrated within our political, legal, economic system, and gradually just made these inroads. So it's becoming more legitimate. It's more of a legitimate financial instrument. To some extent, it's almost like capturing Wall Street. So much money is being made off of Bitcoin now because it's actually a pretty sizable asset class in and of itself. Bitcoin alone is about 1.2 trillion of market value when 60,000 times just under
like
20 million. You know what it's like, Trish? It's basically the size of Meta. It's the same market cap as Meta or Facebook.
Interesting.
So, it's like a Mag 7 unto a company unto itself. And I don't think that's a bad way to think about Bitcoin as a stock. You're really making an investment in a technology platform, sort of in the same way when you buy Meta, you're making an investment in a different way into a business that owns technology platforms like Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. But here you're buying it directly, like a direct share of that platform, rather than the traditional model that's intermediated through the government through ownership of a company. So that to me is a very
okay. I mean, I'm going to pick that one apart because the ETFs obviously are the intermediaries, but you can actually still go buy a Bitcoin in a hard wallet, which, by the way, means cold. Forgive me. I got to get my terminology right. The Bitcoin fanatics will not be happy. But the cold wallet, right? Like it's like that thing. As long as you memorize your numbers and your password, like that's yours forever, even in the deepest, darkest times, which is, wild. But that's the thinking on it. You do have some middlemen though nowadays.
Yeah, and I think historically, like the way people have thought about Bitcoin is saying, well, I want to eliminate the middleman, I want to eliminate the government, I want an asset that I can own directly, and that's the nature of its value. Sort of the way people kind of think about gold is being outside the grasp of government entities. I think what Michael Saylor was saying is that actually Bitcoin's future value is actually more predicated not on it being this sort of outlaw form of money, but the fact that it's becoming integrated within our system, that it's becoming not just legalized, but embraced within our financial system. And we see it now. Saylor played a clip from Larry Fink talking about the about face he did on Bitcoin, because now BlackRock offers Bitcoin ETFs. Okay, so now you have basically the largest asset managers making money off of Bitcoin. You have
Right.
politicians.
So then it makes it a little bit more politically protected. A lot of diehards would say, wait a second, this is not what we wanted. This kind of destroys the whole premise of it. But, I do think that for it to really work and for it to work long term, you do need some buy-in, right? Like everybody can't keep going to jail, like what I saw initially.